Hello and welcome to Ninja Monkey. Happy Sunday, happy Monday, wherever you might be watching from. This live stream is going to be about your expectations after day 3, because there's a lot of things that can actually happen after day 3 that you don't realize until you're actually in Japan. In this live stream, I highly recommend that you at Ninja Monkey or put question if you have any questions. Chat amongst yourselves, and as always, let's get to it. Today, we're going to be talking about the following different things that can sometimes happen, and I want to remind you that we're all slightly different types of travelers, so we never know. We have jet lag, energy levels, walking distances, politeness and fatigue, decision fatigue, early mornings, sensory overload, yes, it's a thing, weather reality, and food issues. So yeah, we're going to be talking about all of those things. But before we do that, let's see who is here, who is in the chat, and all that. Let's see. Ooh, are we live? We are live. Sometimes I wonder whether I'm actually live or not live. And I think that we are live. Right, so let's see. Common commenter says first. Hey, common commenter. You've got a difficult name, I'm not gonna lie. Jim Ross starts with a Ninja Monkey gift memberships. Are you one of the lucky ones? Thank you so much, Jim Ross, for your support there. We have Lord McGray. Hello there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. He's been waiting for 10 minutes. I hope the wait wasn't too long. Frog Lady's in the house. Hey Froggy, how are you doing? Tommy Key and Gold Coast, Mark G, Blue Owl. Awesome. So many people. That's pretty cool. Lord McGray also with 5 Ninja Monkey gift memberships. Arigato gozaimasu. By the way, if you do become a member, you have access to lots of emojis that are specific to you guys. Guys, use the emojis. Use the emojis. They're pretty cool. And yeah. Have you ever tried KFC in Christmas time in Japan? No, because I usually arrive around New Year's. Although they still sort of sell that like festive KFC thing, it's not the very first thing that I crave, because I think it's just pretty much normal KFC but in a like special bucket, if that makes any sense. And for those of you who have just joined, I actually put out a video on my second channel, Happy Gaijin. It was a little bit of a chill, sort of like slice of life, no talking really, just get a glimpse of what it's like to experience the last day in Tokyo. Hopefully you liked it, and hopefully you'll also like it. So yeah, let's see. Lord McGray showing off the Godzillas. Yay! Weather really was the one getting off the plane and being hit by 32 degrees in September. Yeah, it can be like that. Everything is covered in snow here. A rare occurrence here. Bojo, really? Where are you now, by the way, Bojo? I lose track. And Frog, Lady, Banana, and Yuzu fans. I have my Tokyo Banana ready. I have my Coke Zero ready. I wish I had Yuzu. But I don't, unfortunately. But I wish I did. Alright, let's get started. So the very first point that I wanted to talk about was energy levels, because let's face it, we all hit a wall at some point. The mixture of jet lag that, depending on what part of the world you come from and depending on how you deal. By the way, how do you guys deal with jet lag? I'd love to know in the chat down there. But I've become better and better at jet lag on the way to Japan. I remember the first few times it was a little bit of a nightmare, but I've just become better at jet lag. Keeping yourself busy is definitely the best way to beat jet lag. On the way back it's far worse, but also it all depends at what time you arrive in Japan. I try to arrive early in the morning and fight my way through the jet lag. But this video is about what happens in the first 3 days, and I have some notes here. I'd love to know if you guys agree, disagree, and also remember that everyone's different, and therefore, therefore, what I say doesn't mean that it's going to apply to everyone. It may apply to you. So yeah, basically, I think that day 3 is when you get this "why am I already tired" sensation, and you start noticing in your body that you are actually tired and everything is catching up on you. Lack of sleep, jet lag, and things like the fact that you're walking 20 or 30 or 40,000 steps every single day eventually catches up on you. The fact that you're standing on trains many times without being able to find a seat starts to catch up on you. The fact that you have early starts and late nights definitely start catching up on you. And basically there's mental fatigue from being on all the time, wanting to, the FOMO, not wanting to miss anything, and being on all the time. This is usually the first moment when people think, am I doing this wrong? It's actually very, very normal. And usually for me, it's about day 3. And after day 3, I find that you do adjust, you do sort of change a little bit your travel style. You might realize, wait a minute, maybe I have to get up an hour later, or maybe I need to go to bed a little bit earlier, or maybe I need to just chill and have more coffee. But let's see what you guys have to say about that. Yabashi, how are you? Usually no jet lag. Since I sleep on the flight over, I hit the ground running in Japan. Always jet lag when I get back. Similar, same to me. Same for me. Yes, I'm an enabler. I no longer try to fight my body. It adjusts soon enough, especially if you get out in the sunlight. That's why I like getting to Japan in the morning if I can. To be honest, I drank too many days being hungover. I tanked too many days being. You know, I should have added that to the list, but I didn't. That's a really good one. Maybe drinking more than normal. I feel that Japan can sometimes feel like one big hangover if you're a drinker. Going to Japan, no jet lag issues. Returning to Canada, deaf. warmed over for a month. For me, the same. For the first trip, I was so unbelievably excited I didn't feel much fatigue until like 6 days. Next time might be different. Yeah, I guess it depends on you also. I said day 3. I did a little bit of research, and it seems that day 3 is when it hits people generally, not just in Japan. In on vacation, people go 120%, and when they hit day 3, they start noticing it, and when they hit day 3, they start adjusting a little bit. And I wonder if you guys adjust too. No jet lag for Froggy at all. At all. Lucky Froggy. Prefer arriving in the afternoon so I can get to the hotel, do some food, some walking around, go to bed at 10 p.m. so I can wake up at 5 a.m. Not intentional. I get it. Collapsing Gaijin. Slick with the kicks. It's a thing. It's a thing. Usually not bad. Get in mid-afternoon and push to stay up at least until 10. Getting into a routine fast shifts me quick enough. Yeah, definitely. I think getting into a routine definitely works. And also I think that the first night I tried to drink, it sort of become my jet lag cure. Have a few drinks that will help me fall asleep because I'm already exhausted anyway. Yes, I usually take the red-eye flight and get to Japan in the early morning, and it becomes the longest day of activity. Yeah, and as a result of it becoming the longest day of activity, it ends up being the most exhausting one, which means that you usually end up sleeping properly the first night, if that makes any sense. I hate arriving in the evening. It really messes with me, I'm not gonna lie. Arriving at 5 or 6 p.m., getting to the hotel for 7 or 8, and then only basically going to bed after a few hours, it's very, very difficult. But like I said, it's all about those first few days. Eventually it just hits you. You've gone from basically sitting in an aeroplane for 14 hours or 13 hours doing nothing to going like head on, taking Japan head on, being on your feet all day, walking 20 times more than what you'd walk at home, etc. I've only been once. It's hard to say. It all felt like a blur and an attack on the senses, but alternating busy city days with day trips to quieter areas helps. Yeah, Tarian, I think that's what I mean. I think that you sort of get to a point where you just have to change your routine because, maybe what you planned, all the things that you plan to do, you realize by day 3, actually, that's unrealistic. I'm going to die if I carry on trying to hit every single location on my list. I no longer try to do the thing of leaving my hotel in the morning, returning late at night, unless it's a day trip. My hotel room is now my operating base, and I rest there as needed. Nice. I think the excitement of what I am seeing doing helps me shift as well. Yeah, Will Ferrell for sure. Will Ferrell? Yeah, Will Ferrell. Cool. Uh, I agree. I 100% agree. So the second topic that I have, so that's jet lag, energy levels, is walking distances. Let's talk about walking distances, guys. I'd love to know, how much do you guys walk on a average trip to Japan? And for everybody that's watching who hasn't been to Japan, start training now, because you're gonna walk a lot. You're gonna walk a lot. Like, Japan is a country with incredible public transportation. You can use the metro, you can use the trains, you can get everywhere basically through public transport. But that's not to say that you're not going to walk an excessive amount. It's crazy how much you walk in that country, and people usually underestimate it. And as a result of underestimating it, it just, it throws you off. I still leave my hotel early, but don't push it very late anymore. Depends on if it's raining. We'll talk about that later. Last time my average was 26,000 steps a day. Average would be around 20,000 steps for Gold Coast. I've been hitting 30,000 pretty much every day on my last trips, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, so walking distances, I was going to say, Google Maps can be your best friend, but it can also be your worst enemy. I find that a lot of people go by Google Maps, and Google Maps is a great tool, by the way, but a lot of people go by Google Maps. Google Maps says from point A to point B is X amount of time, but the reality is that there's a lot of walking involved. Stations can be quite big, walking from platform to platform, changing from the metro to the JR line, changing stations sometimes, from moving from one station to that. You might have to exit a station to enter another one. The amount of steps that you do going up and down stations, and that's before you even get to your destination. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a good 2,000 or 3,000 steps in just inside of a station in a day. It's absolutely incredible. And the other thing is that tourist areas usually are not like all in the same place. They're spread out. A lot of the time, like I said, a lot of these steps happen in stations. Oh my god, my walking in Japan was insane, like 30,000 steps a day. And one night I was so hyped to see all of Tokyo that I walked like 70,000 steps. Are you kidding me, dude? That's crazy. Destroyed the next day. I'm not surprised. Yeah, get some comfy shoes. I agree. I think that getting the right shoes makes a huge difference. One of my friends came with me on my third trip, I think it was, and he was wearing boat shoes. I don't know if they're called boat shoes. And I told him, I said, dude, don't take your boat shoes with you. They might be stylish, but you're gonna die. And he ended up having to buy a pair of shoes in Japan because his feet nearly died. 20 to 30,000 steps usual day, over 40,000 steps max. 15,000 steps daily on average. A few 25,000 day steps, some less. Okay. I actually don't feel the walking so much and normally get dragged down by friends complaining. Okay. Hey, we've got a new member. Welcome to the chats. Who are you? Just wait. Luis Thiago Fernando Descleman. Hey, welcome to the chat and welcome to Ninja Monkey. You can use your memberships with lots of emojis and stuff like that. I had to get my boots resoled because I wore the grips and heels down. It's not walking to my track or to a horse. It's actually walking. Oh my goodness, it's true. How many horses do you have? Horses? I hadn't even asked you this question, Jim. What kind of shoes do you wear when you are in Japan? That's a very good question. Recently, I've been wearing Vessies depending on the season that I go. Vessies are very good because they're waterproof. They're generally quite comfortable, and I wear them especially when it's like I know that it's going to be a season it's going to rain, summer, rainy season, that sort of thing. Other than that, I think Skechers are a win also. Skechers are great, and in the past few trips, I've purchased some Onitsuga Tigers from Japan once I've been there, and I've worn those also. But I found that Onitsuga Tigers take a little bit of time to wear them in. Now that I wear them at home, they're amongst some of the most comfortable shoes that I have. So I highly recommend getting some and maybe wearing them a little bit before you go to Japan. Yeah, what shoes do you guys wear? If the entire walk is up a slope, that can make a big difference. I'm wary of places with Zaka in the name. That yeah. Using Chiba monorail, there is not much walking. That is true. Okay, Towada, I'm gonna have to go to Chiba and do all the Chiba stuff. I give you a deal. You write me an itinerary. Give me 10 things to do in Chiba, and I'll do it for a video. Over 40k on the day and going around the Yamanote line. Oh boy, yeah. I mean, I've done my share amount of walking with you, haven't I, Clay? Also, quite a bit. I got a pair of On Clouds shoes. I hope it works for my next trip to Japan. Definitely. I think at the end of the day, it's all up to preference. If it's comfortable, then great. For me, my priority for the last few trips when it's been like summer and it rains, etc., has been for it to be waterproof. There's nothing worse than having to worry about water like in Japan when you're walking around. Yay, Tiago! Thank you. Awesome. That name is too short. That name is way too short. Proper shoes that are broke in prior to is a must. I agree. I think so, yeah. I use Google Maps and mark out places I plan to see in a way that involves the least amount of backtracking. I think that Go Wonder, you've hit the nail on the head there. I think backtracking can be, well, backtracking is very like you waste so much time. Yeah. Hi, I thought I walked a lot in my normal life, but Japan was really surprising. I strongly recommend bringing shoe insoles or buying them in Japan. I never thought of I never wear insoles. Skechers for you. Just wear running shoes. I mean, one of my friends recently went with Doc Martens and she was fine. Of course he has horses because he's a cowboy. Post shoes have no arches. I had no arches when I walked the Yamanote line loop. Not complete. Darn Asics Tigers have no arches. Asics Tigers? Dude! Bruce Lee style look good, but I need arch fit like Skechers shoes. Yeah, Skechers are great. Cowboy hats. Asics. Oof, I wore like 20 euro sneakers, but I'm going to invest on something better for next time. I don't think you need to overthink it too much. Plus, you're in Japan, you can get shoes there as long as you're... Ooh, it's frozen. How long has he been frozen? Pfft, God knows. There we go. I don't know what happens with this camera. Skechers D-Lights are now my favorite shoe, stable and comfortable for walking. For winter snow, I have Russian Valenki. What is Russian Valenki? Wow. Used to do a lot of walking. Not sure of the step count, but I ride everywhere now. So talking of walking, I plan to travel with my normal sneakers, Asics, and buy winter waterproof boots on Sapporo if needed. What do you think? I think, I think if you have shoes that you think are going to work, just take them. Just be aware that if you're going to be doing an extensive sort of trip around Japan and going to castles and museums, more traditional, staying in traditional inns, accommodation, that sort of thing, if you're into that, then just be aware that you will most likely have to take off your shoes a lot. So make sure that you can take them off and put them on quite easily, fast. Other than that, like I was mentioning before, you can always just get shoes in Japan if you absolutely need to. Cowboy boots are all I wear. I bought shoes for Japan, but they just live in my suitcase. Actually, I can't imagine you without cowboy shoes now. I love the seeing shops with comically long names in Japan. Our own plow shoes rather high. You have to be careful. Many steps and staircases that are rather steep inside and outside. I don't know how high they are. I like to wear Skechers whilst walking in Japan. Yeah, my camera, sometimes it just freezes. I don't know why. Won't have room in the bag for shoes if I buy there. So one pair in the bag, one on my feet. Okay. One thing that can actually save my feet is going on an onsen after a long walk. Yeah, onsens are a great way, yeah, of like saving your feet. Oh yeah, I've actually worn sandals also in the past. I mean, I've taken a pair of sandals and a pair of whatever shoes, and I've alternated through them. I'm not very sure if I'll do that again in maybe one of my longer trips. I might have to do that. It's good if I'm going to be traveling Japan for 6 weeks. It might be good to have to alternate my shoes, just because they can become a bit smelly, and I don't have smelly feet normally. Yeah, but it's hot, humid. Send me a message, Tawada, or something with that. Thank you. Whatever shoes you choose, make sure that the waterproof. Having to wear wet shoes and socks is horrible. Yeah, amen to that. Amen to that. I agree with you. Gaijin sandals. I use Asics because they are wider and I need 14 to 15 that's wider. Always fun to ask, well, if they have those sizes. Yeah, absolutely. Right, I'm going to open my Coke Zero because I am a little bit thirsty. And I always like to kampai. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with me. And if you're watching in the replay, you can leave a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate if you became part of this team. We're just basically a bunch of people who are generally very positive and helpful and want to help people make sure that they have a great trip in Japan and share our top secret things. I have a toothache, so all right. Logan's run. Walking in Japan is no joke. Running in Japan is no joke. Logan's run. A hotel sometimes camp with an onsen. Yes, that is true. That is true. I think you are the best. Thank you. I think you are the best too. Merino wool socks will help regulate temperature and prevent sweating. Ooh. I've been looking into merino hybrid sort of things. I was thinking of looking into that and getting some for summer. Highest number I think has been for over 40,000. Staying at an Apple hotel for the first time this trip because they look kind of fun. Cool. Better buy yen right now. This trip is going to cost at least 10% more. Right, let's get on to the next one. So we have jet lag, walking distance. The next one is politeness fatigue. Right, this one is a little bit weird. Politeness fatigue. What? It's a real thing. It's a real thing, and we don't realize how exhausting being polite all the time can be when you're not used to it. I'm a polite guy, but let me read some on my. So I've written here, Japanese politeness is amazing, but it can be draining. And I'll give you the reason why it can be draining, especially if you're traveling with people, right? First of all, the constant awareness of your volume. I mean, I traveled with my friend and her kids at one point, and I was so stressed out all the time. You know, like, shh, don't speak so loud. Don't speak so loud. You know, shh, be quiet. Constantly worrying about the volume level was exhausting. You know, then all the time being switched on and reading the room, all the time thinking, should I do this? Should I do it this way? You know, what are the rules? What are the rules here? What are the rules here? I mean, try not to offend. I don't think that's exhausting. I try to not offend people most of my life anyway, so. And then, yeah, generally I think that by day 3, visitors can start feeling a little bit mentally tired. Not socially anxious. It's a big difference. Just basically like constantly being turned on, trying to think about being trying to not bother people all the time can be quite tiring, especially if you're a group of friends and one of your friends is loud. It can actually be very, very exhausting. It's a real thing in America. I like to be rude and loud. Seriously? Maybe loud. You don't have to be rude. You know, I have plenty of loud friends. They're not rude. They're just loud. Being from the UK, this isn't an issue. I'm going to Tokyo for the as a fourth time visitor. What are some neighborhoods you would recommend that aren't super popular, well known, worth visiting? Crusty Soap. I have a whole playlist on that. Please check it out on my channel. I think it's called Tokyo Less Known or something like that. There's right now it's a series. There's 3 or 4 videos. Probably there's about 15 different areas that you should check out. Politeness is default setting. Nice. I hope I can stay there long enough to get tired of the politeness. I love it. This show hasn't happened yet. Yeah, but it's not about getting tired of the politeness. It's not about you being tired of people being polite. It's about you being tired because it all depends on the setting. I don't suffer from this when I'm on my own, but when I'm with other foreigners, I do worry a little bit. Like if my friend's being too loud, if my friend isn't quite used to Japan and they're doing something that isn't socially accepted or whatever, it can be tiring. I relate to this a lot with my Australian mates. Exactly. For foreigners, I think it's okay to be impolite. I don't think so. I disagree with you there, Tawada. I don't think it's okay to be impolite. I think it's okay to make mistakes and to not necessarily follow the rules because you don't know that you're breaking a rule, but you should always try to be polite, in my opinion. I'm a polite person also. That's why you're my friend here. Japan should make a video. Japan should make a video or make some kind of booklet about all the uncommon rules they have. Well, there are videos on that Japan has actually put out. Believe it or not, don't be obnoxious or arrogant. Yeah. Ah, okay, Moses. Just kidding. Okay, okay, okay. Good, good, good. I am polite as long as the other person is polite. I get, I get an argue. I get an urge to dance in the train. I get an urge to dance in the train too. Put my music, full on blast, dancing the Macarena. Hey Gazumi, how's it going? Gazumi is in the house. Awesome. Just being quiet by yourself on the long ride in the public transport with it being silent. Finally had to use my headphones for transit to listen to music or podcasts and not forget to get off. I put on alarms because I always worry it's so calm. Sometimes the train is so calm that I have to set myself alarms on my watch so that it vibrates. It doesn't make a noise, but I don't miss my exit or whatever. Australia, is it Australia Day? Yeah, other people's lack of situational awareness can definitely be stressing. I guess that's what I was getting to really when it comes to that. Another advantage of solo travel, I think people are much more likely to be polite when not around other tourists. Yeah, I think so. Politeness in Japan, for a Dutch person, is also being less direct and less no nonsense. Ooh, interesting. Hmm. I think everyone here will be polite. Also, being a British person living in Finland, politeness can be something you don't see often. It exists, but shyness or language barriers are always what you see first. This is true. Language barriers can be a real barrier, huh? You will definitely see impolite Japanese during store sales. I think that's a worldwide, like, common occurrence. I'd say, like it seems that way anyway, right? It seems like it's going to be a worldwide occurrence. I know you can get loud when I'm excited. I know I can get loud when I'm excited, so I have to keep reminding myself to stay calm. Exactly, exactly. I just love how awkward, anxious Japanese are because it's relatable. I'm an awkward fellow, after all. Okay, and the attitude of everyone caring about everything, but it can be a loot if you're not used to it. Yeah, very, very, very true. As an American, I used to think we weren't liked abroad, but I've made so many friends when I've traveled abroad. They always say they love American. I think us not being liked is from decades ago. Yeah, I love everyone in here. It's amazing when you travel alone, you have less stress, a little loneliness sometimes, but that's why you meet new people around. Anywhere you go is pretty cool. And also, that's why we have the Ninja Monkey community here to hopefully, connect people. I know that there's been plenty of times that people that you guys have connected amongst yourselves and you've met up, which is really cool. I was annoyed when I heard a teenage foreign person swear loudly at Tokyo Disney. Hey, Daniel and Yuka. Hey, maybe you can chime in on here. Maybe you're too used to it, but when I'm talking about politeness fatigue, we're talking about politeness fatigue, the fact that it can be draining to be constantly aware of your volume, or at least worry about the people around you in your group if you're with other foreigners that are a little bit loud or are not necessarily, excitable foreigners who necessarily don't follow the rules. I can imagine that being very stressful and fatiguing. So that's basically what we were talking about there. Right. Next one. I have decision fatigue. This is so freaking true, guys. I think I sometimes really suffer from decision fatigue when I am in Japan. Big time. Big time. One of my friends said to me, I traveled to Japan over the New Year's period with some friends at the beginning, and afterwards I said to my friend, "How did it go?" After I left them, and she's like, "Oh, I've realized that in Japan I'm just anxious because there's too many decisions that I need to make." and and I said to her, I think that's actually kind of normal, and you wouldn't be a normal person if you're in Japan and you don't feel like a little bit overwhelmed with all the things that you can do that you feel that you're missing out on. So I have some points here when it comes to, hey, Jennifer's in the house. Jennifer, Genki, indeed. My next trip is in April. So yeah, decision fatigue. I've got some notes here, and I'd love you to chime in here. And I'm hoping that you're liking this sort of like style of live stream. A little bit more guided rather than just talking about Japan and answering questions. So I have here decision fatigue. First of all, everything looks incredible, but there are too many options, right? There's also language barriers. There's also queues and lines that you have to sort of like navigate. And yeah, so I think that when it comes to decision fatigue, it's not just about what you're gonna do; it's also about what you're gonna eat. Especially when it's in a foreign language and you're presented with a menu and you're navigating it through Google Translate live video thingy, and you're like, what do I eat? What do I eat today? And where do I go? And what do I do? And what coffee house do I go? And what line do I? Decision fatigue is so crazy. I think it's okay to talk in the train, slow, low voice sometimes. We'll talk about rules maybe in another one. From Denver, hey, decision fatigue and decision regret. Oh, decision regret. Very true. When you finally pick a restaurant, then afterwards wonder if it was the best choice. When I'm in Japan, I have decision fatigue beforehand. This is true also. What to do, what not to do. When I get there, the only decision fatigue is the sense is what to eat. I think it depends on the situation and surroundings. If restaurants, cafes is full and other people are talking, then match the energy. Yeah, definitely. I always say match the energy. And there's been sometimes when I've even been in izakaya myself, I've been like, I am the best. I'm going to show everyone what a well-behaved gaijin I am. And then all the Japanese are going crazy. Like, my greedy self, when confronted with decision, I pick both, even if it's too much to eat or drink. That is a good solution and one that I approve of. I try for all trips to have 1 day out of 5 without a plan. Just a day to take it all in and play it by ear. That sounds like a great plan. Excuse the pun, but yeah, it does. Does anyone want to come with me back to Japan in May 2027? We all want to go. Hey, José Cano, saludos from la línea. It's cold here. Hey, ¿cómo estás, José? ¿Has visto mi video en español? Tengo varios videos ahora en español en mi otro canal. I was just saying that I have a Spanish channel. I've been slowly posting things. I don't have decision fatigue. I have my itinerary and stick to it. Yeah, but other than, I mean, I have an itinerary, but when it comes to decision, it can be all sorts of things, not just your itinerary. I don't get decision fatigue because I plan out so much in advance, but I do get train station fatigue trying to find the right exit, right platform. That can be very draining. I get you. Have I ever had a chance to travel to Mobility Park from Tokyo to see the MotoGP? I have not. There's a lot of things that I haven't done. I've said it many times in this channel. I'm totally honest. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've done something just to get views. But these are all things that I'm interested in. In the future, trying to check out. And if not, there's usually somebody in the comments or the chats that can usually give some tips. A well-planned itinerary reduces spot on decisions. Yeah. That's why I buy my tickets in advance, so I won't have to make too many decisions, rather not to go or go. Yes, unlike USA, where the photo of food are never what you get, in Japan, the photos or the plastic food is actually exactly like you get in the restaurant. That is such a good, and again, I've got frozen, but it doesn't matter. That is such a great point there that you've made, Clay. 100% agree. So 80% of days I have some sort of plan outline, at least a wish list of what to do next period a day. That's what I do normally. I have a wish list and I just go through it. But decision fatigue, I think it's in the moment for me personally. It's the being in a shop, what am I gonna eat is probably one of my biggest decision fatigues. I'm not gonna lie. I think indecision is just as bad. You know what, you see something in a store, buy it. You see a cool thing, temple, go and take a look. Yeah. To help with my decision making for Japan, I usually copy what you do with modifications. Okay, thank you. I mean, obviously modify everything. I've said it a gazillion times. Japan is your trip. You got to do it your way. It's not worth just copying, one formula that doesn't work for everyone. So, yeah, please hit the like button to help the channel, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe, guys. Muy buenos videos. Yes. I concur with the concept of decision fatigue. As I plan my upcoming trip, I want to ensure that I experience everything the destination has to offer, but I feel need to plan my rest. I agree. Planning rest is so difficult. Yeah, MotoGP sounds really cool. Being lost in a large metro is kind of like a national sport. I'm not gonna lie, it's true. Yabashe, my toxic trait is not being able to make decisions, so I did everything I wanted to do. Oh my god, my goodness. I'm a spur of the moment gal, so don't normally have an itinerary. I fly by the seat of my pants. Nice. I've never experienced this, but what about if your food is burnt or not to your liking? Do you return it and ask for another? I mean, I've never experienced that either. I don't think they would serve you. I mean, I don't want to generalize. After all, people can make mistakes, and perhaps you could do it in a very Japanese way, and instead of like sending it back, you could always just question: Is this the way it's supposed to be? You know, um, you could just get it translated and show in the phone. Excuse me, is this the way it's supposed to be? And point it out and see how they react. That's probably what I would do in a situation like that. I did know that there's a Snoopy store. Tokyo Station has a street called Character Street, and there's a Snoopy store there, unless there's another one. Have I found any favorite restaurants or cafes in Tokyo in my past few trips? Always, always. I found a few. I found a few. Always. My decision fatigue is only about whether a purchase is still within the tax-free limit of Germany when returning or not. Once I'm over, that fatigue is gone. Wow. I like the low strength ibuprofen available in Japanese pharmacies. I felt I could dose myself without overdoing it. I've never even thought of that, to be honest. FOMO is very, very, very real, and fear is a main killer. Right, let's see. I'm just going to quickly read through some of these. Do I prefer Airbnb or hotel? I always say in hotels as a single, like solo traveler, it just works out better for me generally. Have I ever got lost in a station in Tokyo, and how many times? Absolutely. I've got lost in Shinjuku Station. I mean, have you even been to Japan? Have you ever been to Tokyo? Have you even been to Tokyo if you haven't got lost in Shinjuku Station? And I've got lost in Tokyo Station. Tokyo stations can be a little bit of a maze. And Ikebukuro Station, I mean, some of those signage, things are better now. I think the signs are better, but Ikebukuro Station can equally be quite complicated. Ooh, I'm a ghost now. Ooh, and now I'm pixel art. What the heck? This is so hilarious. Come on, wakey wakey camera. I don't know what's going on. I think since I dropped this camera, there we go. Since I dropped this camera a few months ago, it's not been the same. All right, let's see. Well, before we carry on, Don Quixote fatigue, worst kind of fatigue. I totally get it. I agree with you there. I have to agree with you, have to agree with you there. Right. Next one here is actually what did I have? Early mornings. Early mornings. So, actually, before I do that, I have, I think, 9 bananas left before I go to Japan, and I wonder how many bananas do you have left? How many Tokyo bananas? I'm gonna have this Tokyo banana now. to commemorate one less week before I go to Japan. And goodbye, banana. It will become like a tradition. Mm. How many bananas before your next trip? 3 bananas, 3.5 bananas for Tommy. Mm. Right. So when it comes to early mornings, basically what I'm trying to say here is that early mornings end up catching up with you. You know, travel advice pushes you to start early, you know, beat the crowds, catch the first train, get to shrines early, and all that sort of advice. So it ain't bad advice. I mean, I say it all the time, but I think that realistically, there's only so much of you can do it. You know, because by day 3, again, they're frozen. I don't know why my camera is so weird. Wakey, wakey. Come on. Still live. You can still hear me, right? But you can't see me. I'm trying to fix the camera, guys. Oh, there we go. Just a little bit too high. I was going to say that by day 3, you get sleep debt. Basically, you know, sleep catches up with you, or lack of sleep catches up with you. And the thing is, in the morning, cafe options can be a little bit limited in Japan. I'm working on a video now about that topic. Don't know when that will be out, but yeah, cafe options can be limited. Things are improving though, I've noticed. And I feel that sometimes if you're not careful, if you don't time your mornings right, you don't have to get up every single morning super early to rush ahead of the crowds, you know, because that means that you'll end up just rushing instead of enjoying. And this is when travelers realize that they've basically created an unsustainable routine, and you don't want an unsustainable routine when you're in Japan. Around 93 bananas. No. No. What areas am I looking to check out? Check out this trip to Japan. Maguzi. Well, I'm going to be in April, and I think I'm just going to stick to Tokyo, do some day trips. It'll be Sakura season, fingers crossed. I'll see. And then the summer trip, I'm starting to think about now. Early mornings to get on the train, have breakfast in another city, move to a park or outdoor site, seeing spot and enjoy. Video feed is probably the most data intense, but I don't know what's going on with my video camera, to be honest. Early mornings when I have a destination, normally I'm a nocturnal creature, but trains make you go back to the hotel before the station closes. Taxis are expensive. Early mornings are popular places to avoid the crowds, but I do try to schedule in some sleep days. That is what I'm talking about. Go wander down under. You are a pro Japan traveler. But we already know that. I didn't need to say that to you. My early mornings in Japan are usually limited to those days where I am waking up due to jet lag. And as you point out, a lot of shopping districts are not going to have anything open. Very true. Pronto but how early does Pronto open? As long as you're not hungover in the morning, should all be good. Oh yeah, Yabashi. I mean, if you've watched any of my Japan live streams when I've been in Japan, and I know that you have, how many vending machine coffees have I had? Like, how many vending machine coffees did I have in my last trip? Like, a hell of a lot of vending machine coffees. Lots. Mabusi, gracias. I'm not a nocturnal gang at all. Like, I need my sleep. I don't operate if I don't sleep. Yeah, you did. I remember. I had so much coffee. It was insane. Right, next one. Oh my goodness, sensory overload finally lands. This one is so true. Sensory overload. So, it gets to the point. Where's my notes gone? Here. Yeah. Where are we? Oh yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say that at the very, very beginning of your trip, neon lights are pretty cool. All those sounds, all those announcements, which I love. The crowds, the visual clutter, etc. But by day 3, your brain could actually reach a point where it just says, I need peace and quiet. It's happened to me before. Maybe not by day 3, maybe by day 7, by day 8, something like that. I'm like, I just need to find a park where I could just listen to the birds and nothing else. People don't expect how much background simulation Japan has, even when it's calm, even when there's nothing happening. I feel like cities, specifically cities, I'm talking about Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, etc. There's so much background noise, so much sensory overload. It's actually quite incredible. It doesn't affect me too much, but I know of people that it affects pretty early on in their trip, and they sort of have to start adjusting. Think of us poor souls who don't drink coffee. No, you need to drink coffee. No, you don't. But sensory overload. As soon as you get off the train in Shinjuku, fresh from the airport, Japan equals sensory overload. Oh my god, I'll give you one. Don 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 Donkey Don Quixote. Oh my god, now I'm gonna have that song in my head all day. When my brain stops processing the countless tiny items on row after row, aisle after aisle in shops, that's when I return to the hotel room for a mental break or a cafe. Maybe that's why I end up going to so many cafes. Maybe it's not because I need the caffeine. Maybe it's because I need a break. It's the sound. They're everywhere. There is so much that literally makes you dream of nothingness. Donkey, Yodobashi, Bic, every store for the matter you walk by. Yes. It was such a strange feeling arriving back in Helsinki, waiting for the train home, and it felt silent. Ooh, it must be so cold in Helsinki right now. I often describe Japan to people as it's like having 10 TV screens on all the time. You don't know where to look. I like that description, Gazumi. Very true. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like being inside of a popcorn machine whilst it's running. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, well, tea, you could have tea. Plenty of tea options. Traditional Kisutan. Yeah. Cure for sensory overload. Beach in Okinawa. Hiking in the mountains. Early mornings at a shrine. All magical locations. Most sensory overload for me was definitely the big crowds and cars, but was surprisingly fine with the neon and donkey stuff. It did all catch up with me on the way home though. Even crossing the road is a sensory experience with the bird sounds. Oh yeah, did you know that there's two bird sounds? One is a twerp and one is a beep. The two different sounds. One of them is represent basically is from north to south, and the other one is from east to west. Just in case you didn't know that. And now we all have the donkey theme in a loop in our heads. Thank you, Lord McGray. Oh, by the way, Lord McGray, you've got your name back, and I have not made a big song and dance about it, but you've got your name back. Yes. I'd rather deal with donkey instead of ever going movie of New York City. I told you the two bird sounds. It's crazy. Once you know it, you notice it, right? But if you don't know it, you just don't realize. It's one of those things. It's the most powerful example of knowledge being power in a way. Sensory overload was leaving Japan, or sensory, like a sensory detox maybe. Jindaji Temple and Botanical Gardens also offered a break. Highly recommend. By the way, I got my name back. Kampai on that. Yeah, this is why I'm saying celebrate the name, because we've all been a little bit bewildered. Other than the photo that pretty much was the same, but that weird name that you had before was really confusing, and it's good to have the Lord back. To the name, and thank you for the super chat. The amazing thing is that any shrine or temple is an oasis of calm. Yes, yes, yes. Very true. I have a small device that plays the donkey theme and also the pop 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 song I brought from Donkey. It's a bit pricey, just to help my Japan jitters. I don't think I would hide it. That weird cheesy name is my real name. Okay, I wasn't used to it. Okay, that's all. That's all. All right. Weather reality. Weather reality, guys. Right. Weather reality. I wrote this afternoon, and I can't remember what I wrote. Oh yeah. All right. Weather can really be something that people don't expect, and it can actually take a hit in your trip. We're talking, summer humidity is famous. Most people that go in the summer know what they're getting into, but still, it can really affect your trip. And then, depending on the time of the year, there's plenty of rain. Japan is actually quite a rainy country. A lot of people make seasonal clothing mistakes. They wear the wrong things. I think I've said it a million times. Layers, layers, layers. Just layers, layers, layers. You'll be fine. But by day 3, tourists realize that weather affects everything. Mood, pace, patience, enjoyment, and even your itinerary, which is why it's important to have a little bit of flexibility when you're traveling around Japan, because you might hit a brick wall, and that brick wall might be a typhoon or a storm or some kind of weather event that you weren't planning for. So this is why I love this channel and community. We all share a love for Japan. I like to pick up everyone's brains here, yeah, and do so. This is why it's great to have this community. Just ask whatever questions. It's great. Weather is a reality. It happens everywhere. That is true. That is true. It is going to rain. It is a problem that can often be solved with money. Buy an umbrella. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, if you have a day trip planned to somewhere that's going to really expose you to the elements, you might not want to do that day trip on that day. You might simply want to like rearrange your days, change, shift things around. You might like the new movie Bakudan. You get to see Tokyo explode. Oh my god, November, December was so lucky in terms of weather and temperature. Almost only sun or clouds, and just 1 or 2 days, very little bit of rain. May the best month to go anywhere in the world. Finding you can get a sudden hailstorm when you are nowhere near shelter of any kind. I love Japan for its opposite weather from my LA desert. I was going to write, I thought you said desert. LA desert sounds good though. It's so different from what I'm used to except for the snow, rain. I love since we don't often have that in LA. So far I have been lucky, 2 rain days on all of my trips combined. Ooh. Greetings, I will be in Osaka end of February and leaving Tokyo in mid-March. How cold will it be? Cold. I mean, March starts warming up, but February cold. February, be prepared, have a good jacket, especially for the night. I mean, you probably need a good jacket like during the day also. I don't want hot, I don't want cold. I aim for 17 to 19 degrees days, but doesn't always work out. Yeah. Land in Japan, rent a car, visit the non-touristy places. Yeah. Hey, hello everyone. Sorry I'm late. Loved the Slice of Life premiere earlier. Nathan, good. I'm glad you liked it. I mean, we're near the end-ish of the stream. We've got a few more topics to go though. We're just talking right now about weather reality and how people need to sort of be prepared for Japan's elements, and how, you know, people sort of put up with the weather. You go in summer and the first 3 days it's hot, it's humid, it's hot, it's humid, but eventually there's a point that you hit a brick wall, and it can happen in all sorts of seasons, not just Japan, and not just summer. Summer's hard though, hardest probably. Right, and then we have food issues. We sort of spoke about the food issues before. We spoke about the fact that the reality is that there's over choice, there's too much choice, what to eat, what not to eat. And I think the last vlog that I just put out on Happy Gaijin really demonstrated. I had the Hamburg, and I had the Hamburg because of FOMO. Like I hadn't had I don't think I had Hamburg in the entire trip, and because I hadn't had Hamburg and it was the last day of the trip, I was like, I need to have Hamburg before I leave. The same with the 7-Eleven smoothie. It's like I hadn't had that trip. I need to have it before I leave. And yeah, so food is definitely can be an issue. Do you have any recommendations for an onsen that is private? You know what? There's one in Tokyo that I discovered recently that I super fell in love with, and I definitely will be visiting in the summer. I'm just gonna see if I can find, because I took a picture of the name of the onsen, and let's see. It was so nice, seriously. And I think, let me see if I can find it. If I don't find it now, I will post it on Discord at some point. If you're not a member, if you're not a Discord member, then please become a Discord member. Where is it? It was... I'm looking through all of my photos. There are so many photos. Maybe. Or does somebody remember the the onsen better than me? Ah, it's called Sayano Yudokoro. Let me just write it down for you here. Sayano Yudokoro. That one had private onsens, and it was a public like day use sort of thing, and you could actually go and do private onsen also. Hanshi no Tokyo Osaka pipes the hot water to the room. Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing, Tuada. Are there any Spanish restaurants? There are quite a few Spanish restaurants. I've only eaten in Spanish restaurants a few times, like tapas bars and stuff. There is so much food, and mostly survived off supermarkets, and combini food, and couldn't decide what to buy, so just bought everything. Yes. Yeah. Discovered the express train from Kyoto to Kansai Airport my last year. Really a convenient service. It definitely is, right? So guys, I think we are near the end. If you have any questions, I'm just going to open up the floor to just general like Japan travel questions right now. If you're interested, if you're planning a trip to Japan, then I highly suggest that you check out my Japan starter kit playlist. It's usually the most helpful playlist that I have on my channel. Other than that, check out, always we do these streams every Sunday, so you might want to head back next Sunday to say hello and just hang out if you've enjoyed this. And if you have enjoyed the live stream, then don't forget to like. It's free. It's just a little press of the button, and you can always hype. I believe that you can do that from a mobile device. And just a reminder that I do have various other channels. Happy Gaijin being my second English sort of like chill vloggy sort of channel, experimental channel, and Hapon Tips, which is my Spanish language channel, which I've sort of started to put a little bit more effort into. Thanks for the link there. Any changes to the Visit Japan web process? Well, I don't know if there's been any changes since my last trip. My last trip was just a few weeks ago. Well, my last trip was at the end of December, beginning of January, and everything seemed to be exactly the same. So at the moment, as far as I'm aware, there's no real different changes. But if there are, I will definitely add it to a video. Can you create a video showing any Hispanic community in Japan and generally curious about them? I actually have sort of made kind of Oisumi. If you search for Oisumi, I made a video where I went to Oisumi, which is one of Japan's largest Latin American. Mainly there were, what was it, Peruvian and Brazilian people living in this town. It was very interesting. I always hype, yay. Yeah. And as always, I just wanted to do a quick thank you to Jim Ross, who's sent 5 Ninja Monkey gift memberships. Lord McGray, arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much for the gift memberships. Frog Lady, always supporting me. Much appreciated. There we go. Was it Tiago? Luis Tiago, thank you so much. Welcome to Ninja Monkey Chat, and also thank you again for the super chat there. Super chats and that sort of thing do actually help the channel out. It's what helps me continue making content, you know, and putting, you know, putting things together. So I really appreciate it. Let's see if there's any other questions. Oh, Nathan or someone else who knows, did you ever fly to Nagasaki? Is there an easy way to get there from Europe? I haven't flown directly to Nagasaki. The closest I've flown to is Oita or Fukuoka. You could probably fly to Nagasaki. I don't believe there's a direct flight to Nagasaki. You'd probably be able to fly with like ANA or JAL or something like that, with some kind of a connection, is my guess. Hi, I discovered onigiri are best eaten as fresh as possible. Staying overnight in my hotel fridge ruined one I was keeping for breakfast. Ooh. Yeah, maybe it's something to do with the temperature. Maybe it's too cold. I'm not very sure. Channel cheerleader. Good job once again. How many hours do you practice your Japanese language? At the moment, 0. I set myself a New Year's resolution of improving my Japanese by at least 30% this year. I want to be realistic. I don't want to say like I'm going to learn Japanese and be fluent. I just thought this is where I'm at. I want to improve it 30%. Right now, I'm going to be totally honest. I have done 0. I'm finding it incredibly difficult. I have no time. Literally no time. It's either that or YouTube at the moment. That's basically, it's either putting out a video on YouTube, doing a live stream, or just, you know, or language. So I don't know. Yeah, Fukuoka and Oita are quite close. Fukuoka will be definitely your easiest bet. And I've frozen. Come on. Wakey wakey. Camera. Stream ain't over quite yet. Come on, camera. I think next week I'm going to have to try and use a different camera because this one is starting to annoy me. Right. You did Tokyo to Nagasaki on ANA. Yeah, that's what I thought. Another also live stream, spending time with amazing people. And I hope that this format works, you know, more like... Yeah, Fukuoka is probably the best, I would say. How long is your flight from where you are to Japan? Long. I have to fly internationally first. Usually it's a 3-hour flight to whatever airport, and then it's usually like a 13-hour or 14-hour flight. Just a few more minutes, camera. Don't spoil it. In your brain, a rest from a language, then going back in a month or 2 can be beneficial. You know what? I had like a 7-hour, I had a 6-hour layover in Frankfurt, and I just stayed in the airport. I was a little bit worried about leaving, you know. Right. It seems there's no more questions. Oh, where? Oh, well. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to just say a big thank you to all of you who have supported me. Thank you for all of you who turn up every single week. It's great. And for those of you who are new, I'd love it if you could become part of the community. Even if you don't subscribe, just come, you know, join the chat, and let's get to know each other. Let's help each other. And if you're traveling to Japan and you have some interest in Japanese culture, topics, etc., then check out some of my less, you know, travel related videos. I've got a few documentary style videos like on smoking in Japan, on the dark side of Japan's trains. I also have a video on the touts in Shinjuku, and I love making those videos. So yeah, anyway, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say goodnight, and a big thank you to everyone. Have a fantastic week, everyone. Stay positive. Check out my latest videos, both channels, and be happy gaijin, everyone. Peace.